I'd ask you all to remain standing, please. For the general public, this past week, we lost to the community of Yarmouth County and to the town of Yarmouth a councillor in Sandy Dennis for the town of Yarmouth. And she fought a long, hard battle, and she's at peace now. I'd like to have a moment of silence, if we may, please. Thank you. Before we get into the agenda, I'm just, I know you all knew Sandy. She was a councillor who was very devoted to her residents in the town. And when Sandy was first elected, she was posted to one of the committees that I chaired. And after the very first meeting, she came to me and she said, "Leland, I had no idea of all of the information that I have just received here at this meeting." She said, "of the ongoings that it takes to run councils and so on." But Sandy was a determined lady, and she worked hard, and she worked hard for her residents and so on. She's going to be missed, not just as a councillor, but as a friend to a lot of people and so on, the things that she done. On that note, item number 2 is the approval of the agenda. Is there any deletions or additions at this time? If not, I will accept a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Moved by Councillor Allen. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Cushion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 3, you've seen the agenda. Is there any declaration of any conflict of interest in any of the items on the agenda for any councillor? If so, please declare it. Hearing none, we'll move on to item number 4, approval of the minutes of January 23rd, both the public transcript, regular council meeting, and and the in-camera minutes. So I would, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councillor.
I move for the approval of minutes of January 23rd, 2019 regular council meeting minutes, January 23rd, 2019 public transcript meeting minutes, and January 23rd, 2019 in-camera meeting minutes.
We have a mover. Do we have a seconder for those? Been moved by Councillor Gerard LeBlanc, seconded by Councillor Cushion. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 5, Warden's remarks. Man. What can I say about February? February is a short month. February now has a holiday in it on the 18th, Heritage Day. And Heritage Day has a lot of importance. The word is very simple, heritage, but the February has an important meaning for a group of people in all of, I'll say Atlantic Canada, right across Canada. It is February is Black History Month. And I have had the opportunity over the last number of years to participate in the opening of the Black History Month. I've also had the opportunity to participate in their gala. This year I wasn't able to because I had another event to attend. But any chance you get to learn or go to any of the museums and so on that has anything to do with Black History Month, please take the opportunity. Black History Month will give you a lot of information on what they done. The largest black settlement at one time, it slipped me, it's in Shelburne. Birchtown. Birchtown was the largest settlement of blacks at one time, or coloreds. And it's just amazing what they have. And they're also working very diligently on having a museum in the Digby area and so on. And they're hoping to have that open, I believe, this fall, finished and so on. And there was a lot of prominent people, done a lot of things for Canada, for Nova Scotia and so on. It's amazing. I won't go into details, but it is amazing. Anyway, we're moving on from that. It's been very cold in February. I think every one of us have bundled up a little heavier than normal, but we haven't had a lot of snow. We only had a few snow days. Case in point, on February 13th, we had to cancel our committee of the whole and move that to the 20th of February because of the weather. I hate to say that, or as you're well aware, I was not available to be here on the February 20th, and the Deputy Warden chaired that meeting, and I wish to thank him for doing that. I was in Halifax on the 20th of February to a course put on by the organization ICD, Institute of Corporate Directors, and I was there on behalf of Divert Nova Scotia. We all have been to different courses, different summits and so on. This was a 4-hour course, and there was 4 elected officials, myself, Tom Taggart from Colchester, Phil Mooney from the town of Yarmouth, and Pat McGuinness from Stewiacke. We all sit on the board of Divert, so we all went, but there was about 70 other private business people at that. And it was all about governance and how we as board members, and as you sit here today, your responsibility to the organization that you're representing, your responsibility to the municipality for sitting here isn't to just come, listen, and go. Your responsibility is a lot more than that. And I've sent you the information this evening. I've also sent it off to the CAO, Victoria, and her and I will get together and have a discussion. I would like to see if we couldn't have them come down and put that on a smaller forum and invite the other 2 councils to sit, because for you as councillors, it will really give you an idea of your responsibilities and so on, and your power and so on that you have. So I think that it was one of the best courses I was at. Oh, and here was the fun one. I was there on the 20th, but on the 21st of February, I, along with 6 of my other fellow colleagues, we presented to the Minister Miller of the Environment, and to the Deputy Minister and to her staff on the moving forward of EPR, which at your fall conference, there was a resolution passed that NSFM moves forward on EPR. NSF staff were at that meeting and so on. The minister gave us an hour and a half to have that discussion. We gave the information that was necessary. And when we left the meeting, we were very, I'm not going to say disappointed, but we never got no commitment from the minister. Not asking that, yes, she's going to make it regulations, but there was no commitment from her that she would try and move it forward and so on. But they are going to have another meeting with NSFM. We are able to sit at the table at that time at a roundtable caucus meeting and be able to bring forward any information that's necessary. Because for the general public that don't really understand EPR, it's extended producer's responsibility. So you're already paying in your price when you buy your craft dinner, you're already paying a small percentage to handle that cardboard box. But right now, the general public, the taxpayers in Nova Scotia, are paying twice. You're paying at the grocery store for it, and then you're paying your municipal unit to haul the garbage, sort it, and try and sell it. So you're paying twice. If EPR was put in place, in about 3 years' time, municipal units in Nova Scotia would be receiving between 14 and 16 million dollars. That's what you'd be saving and what you'd be receiving from those companies to look after your solid waste, your garbage. And it's awful hard that the province of Nova Scotia won't move forward when across Canada other provinces have it in place. So that's an uphill battle for us. The other issue that we have been discussing over the last this month has been we've been meeting with the consultants pertaining to the Yarmouth Regional Airport or International Airport, excuse me, and so on. And we're still in a moving forward position on that. We'll see where it leads and so on. But with the 3 municipal units, we're working diligently and we'll try and come to a conclusion in the near future. That ends my report. Any questions? Hearing none, I'll move on. Item number 6 for information. The Nova Scotia Library funding. You had that in your package. Go ahead, Councillor Cunningham.
I reviewed the package, and there is a letter in our package from
Westville.
from Westville,
Yes.
town of Westville, and it's outlining fee increase and costs for libraries and so forth. And in it, it's actually detailing the fact that there was no consultation with the municipal units across Nova Scotia about these increases. But they've shown up, and they're sizable. There's a big increase for Western Nova Scotia, like tens of thousands of dollars. So anyway, just maybe confirmation from our CEO that that's the case, and maybe some commentary on this file and what we might do moving forward.
You wish to comment? Yeah.
So the letter from Westville came in very, very quickly after CAOs received the email. So a review was undertaken, and the Department of Municipal Affairs participated in the review. The message that we've received at the municipal level is that the Department of Municipal Affairs was our voice at that table. We have a memorandum of understanding.
Yes.
We do not have an act or legislation requiring the 1 year's notice. I would suggest that the response of the town of Westville would be an appropriate response for municipal government. The language in there clearly outlines exactly what the impacts are. It raises the concerns with the process that was used without any involvement at the municipal level. And I will remind you that you are actually involved on the governance side of the library model, because we do have elected officials sitting on the boards of our libraries. So definitely you were absent from that process.
Was there any other questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Durkee.
Thank you. I wouldn't mind some feedback from our council. Will be attending Western Counties Regional Library meeting tomorrow afternoon. So some input from you again. Appreciate that. I know there is some concern because there was a last minute. I recall getting an email like within a couple of days before there was consultation done down here on it. In fact, we didn't get a notice. We got a notice from NSFM after the actual consultation had happened down here that it was happening. We weren't consulted. We absolutely weren't. It was a letter that you had, CAO, received, but the board members weren't asked to attend anything.
And in fact, the event that Councillor Durkee attended on your behalf, because she's the representative on the Western Counties Regional Library Board, was not a consultation, it was an information session. The decisions were made.
Right, and I actually was not able to attend that
That's
meeting
right.
because it came in at the
Too
last...
short notice.
There was hardly any notice, and I had something else I needed to attend, so...
Councillor Cunningham?
Right, and this discussion's good. I guess the big issue is the process. I mean, there's no doubt that, I mean, we're supportive of libraries and so forth, but there's something wrong in the process when all of a sudden we don't know anything about what's going on, and then so it's a form of I mean, we've got a provincial entity essentially inserting an expense item in our budget. With, I think that's fair to say. So I think what we should do is I'll move that we write the minister responsible and include a letter from the town of Westville that we're in receipt of the letter, and that we'd like a review of the process so that it could be that would be much more inclusive of municipal units on the front end moving forward, so that we'd know what decisions are being made and have some input.
We have a mover, do we have a seconder? Been moved by Councillor Cunningham, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Is there further discussion? Because if not, I have a couple of questions. And this is related to the new formula, funding formula and so on. I do remember that the province of Nova Scotia said that they would give municipal units a year's notice when there was going to be any changes to funding formulas and so on, so that municipal units could calculate it into their next year's budget and so on. This was, I guess, dropped here just as Councillor Durkee and the CAO said just here a while ago. And I guess I'm going to ask my CAO, does this mean for the 19-20 budget, the new funding formula is going to be in place, and that's what we're going to have to pay?
So we actually don't have our letter telling us what our allotment will be next year, so we don't know for sure what the interpretation will be.
But, well, I have here, it says the comparison between the current and proposed. Now, I know it says proposed municipal unit contribution. The District of Yarmouth paid in the past $65,394, and the new proposed is $86,000, a $20,000 increase.
So the PowerPoint presentation that's included in the series of documents indicate that it's a $500,000 annual investment beginning in 2021.
Okay. Time is coming short because we'll be going into budget setting process here very shortly, and I don't want 5 days after you've sat down and done all of your budget preparing, and then all of a sudden this comes forward. So would it be prudent upon the municipality of Yarmouth to, when we sit down, to tag something in there, because it's you think we're going to get a letter?
So, right, so the implications are that the money is looking like 2021, and that changes need to be made through regulations, and municipalities require a 1-year notice. So I believe that this is our notice, although we don't have a letter saying this is our notice. I believe this is our notice.
Okay. I'll remember that. Was there any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 7, business arising. 7.1, the Port Maitland Fog Alarm Building surplus property from the January 23rd meeting. And go
So,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman, Council had tasked me with the assignment to provide a brief around possibilities in terms of developing that asset. And I do not have that work complete yet. As you're all aware, we've had a couple of other files come up in the last 3 weeks, but it is on my to-do list. It does appear in my report, Motions of Council, that the work is due but not complete, but it will get done.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Councillor, go ahead.
Yes, completely understood. But I believe, wasn't there a motion on the floor that was deferred? Had we agreed to that motion, or that's, I thought we deferred the motion to the next meeting. I did make a motion to
So the concern was, a recommendation was to consider whether or not that asset was surplus.
yes,
So we don't make negative motions.
right.
So the asset is not currently deemed surplus, and we wouldn't make a motion to not deem it surplus. So there's no action. Council is not giving me any instructions on taking any action on the property, but you've just requested some information.
Right, so was that's what I'm not sure.
6 weeks ago, there was a motion to defer,
Yeah,
and it
and-
came forward.
Okay, and then I know, there was
Yep.
no.
Yep.
Okay, so, and the last request was to do a report.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yep.
we're good to go. Thank you very much.
Okay. Moving on to item number 8, presentations. 8.1, first reading tax exemption bylaw. Go ahead, Deputy Warden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to defer the first reading of the tax exemption bylaw T-082-03 until our next council meeting.
You're making that a motion. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Allen. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Thank you. Oh, what's going on here? Just a second. Move down here. 8.2, first reading the Heritage Property Bylaw H-064-84. Who's taking that? Go ahead, Councillor Durkee.
Thank you very much. With the Heritage Property Bylaw H-064-84, there was a change that in Part 4, the Heritage Advisory Committee shall consist of 7 members, from 8, and 2 from 3 of whom shall be appointed by the Municipal Council. So there was, I believe that was the change that was being recommended. So I'd like to make a motion to pass that through first reading. I think that's what I'm doing, yes.
There's a motion on the floor. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Gerard.
First reading.
Deputy Warden, you had a question?
Yes, Mr. Chair, since the motion's been first and seconded, would the motion not be to accept the first reading and move it to a public hearing? Is that way the motion should be, I guess through you, Mr. Chair, to the CAO for clarification, is that what this motion should read?
You pass it.
Specifically, yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
There's a public hearing prior to the second reading.
Okay.
Thank you.
My mistake. Our solicitor should have picked up on that. Yes. So, the mover, you're change that? Seconder agrees to that?
Yes.
And, okay, yeah.
That's fine.
Did you wish to say?
Got it. Yep, we're good.
Everybody good?
Agreed.
Okay, go ahead.
One more point of order, Mr. Chair. Is it automatically assumed that this public hearing will be held at our next regular council meeting? Or
It has to
does
be.
that date have to be set?
We'll have to calculate the days for advertising to make sure we have enough.
I believe our next regular council meeting would
March
be March the
27th?
27th, which would leave us, it all depends on by the time it hits the papers, because it obviously has to be advertised for 2 consecutive weeks.
Yes, but it doesn't necessarily have to be bi-weekly publications. It could be something that's weekly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
30 days is lots. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
So I'll call that motion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. Item number 9, new business. 9.1 is grant request. You have the Coal Shed Music Festival, the Yarmouth Sea Festival, Firefighters Museum of Nova Scotia, the Yarmouth Shark Scramble, and Yarmouth Events Association. What is the wishes of council? Go ahead, councillor.
Mr. Chair, unless there's a time issue, I don't think there is in these. I'd move that we move these to budget.
We have a mover. Do we seconded by councillor Cushion? Any further discussion on? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. 9.2, the January Development Report. You had that in your package. What is your wishes? I need a motion to accept. Go ahead, councillor.
I'll make a motion to accept the development report for January.
Moved by councillor Durkee, seconded by councillor Allen. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. 9.3, CAO's report. What is the... Let me get here. It's probably not as short as mine, I bet. Is there any questions or concerns with the CAO's report? We're looking as though we haven't read it. I will make a comment that I did not have the time to read it. So, but I meet with her regularly, so I know probably a lot of what she had written down here. Was there any part of your report you wish to highlight, CAO?
One metric that's in there that may be of interest to our constituents, we do have the file from Department of Municipal Affairs which discusses our uniform assessment for this year. So last year our uniform assessment was $696,165.33, and this year we've got an increase of over 2% up to $712,231,419. So we are on a growth trend.
Yay.
Is there any other questions? The only one, when I peruse down through it, the Director of Finance is actively participating on the ferry terminal or Yarmouth Ferry Terminal Phase 1 redevelopment steering committee. Have they been having meetings at this time, do you know, or?
Regularly, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And I believe there's some work going on.
There
on the
is.
project?
Yep. So they're developing the documents that would be required for a procurement process.
Okay. Councillor Cunningham, go ahead.
Just on the CAO's report, there is an Appendix A that she includes in her report, and it's very, very well done. I'd like to congratulate her on doing that. And what it is, as you're all aware, there's a direction or motion of council, and then there's an action as to whether it's been completed and an update here. So that's very, very good. So that ensures that that's a good governance tool, because it ensures that what council's asking the CAO to undertake on their behalf, she's actually doing and reporting back on. So that closes the loop. So thank you for doing that. It's very, very well received. Thank you.
Was there any further questions at this time? I realize some people are very in tune with their computers and can type things out very fast and so on. My one question, and I'm just not, I'd like to know where she finds time to do the report.
So it's a team effort. That's a great question, actually, Mr. Warden. It's a team effort. So all of the directors provide significant detail in terms of their monthly activity, and I use the highlights of that to build out this report and to make sure that some of the higher level reporting I do has the backup information behind it. So it's actually the result of a body of work that the whole team contributes to.
That's good because I've read them and so on. I haven't had a chance to go through this one, but I kind of assumed that, and I know how busy you've been in January and February. I don't know what it'll be like in March for you, but I'm very pleased. It's a lot of good information for us as councillors and so on. It gives us as councillors, after you read her report, if you wish to stop in and have a discussion with her on a topic, you've got some of the information there to move forward on. Deputy Warden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. One thing that I certainly do appreciate in the CAO's report, and I'm going to ring her praises, our CAO's praises, is the motions that council has made over the past little bit. One thing I want to point out is staff was directed to follow up with YASTA regarding pertinent information to park services that are available in Southwest Nova. And she puts here, the action is information has been obtained from YASTA and the Director of Finance will be brought to the Committee of the Whole. So that's something that our council has taken on. Actually, Councillor Durkee had brought forward that. And it's good to see that some motions that we made that may be, sometimes councillors make motions and unfortunately things happen that they may forget about, but I really appreciate like all the previous motions that have been made, whether they're completed, awaiting figures, response has gone to NSF, waiting for reply, information has been taken from YASTA. One is March Committee of the Whole meeting. It's when it's coming up, and I really appreciate that part of it. So anyone that sees that they may have an issue that they brought up to a councillor and the councillor said, well, I made that motion. Well, we can refer that person to the CAO's report and see that that motion is on file and what we are currently doing or what the action is. Like the last one, update. Upon the recommendation of the CAO, the Committee of the Whole agreed to delay formalizing a council code of conduct. And it says here, the action currently is awaiting publication in the NSFM discussion paper. So I really appreciate that, and it makes my job as a councillor much easier. So thank you very much, CAO. It's much appreciated.
Thank you. Is there any further questions? You got off easy, didn't you? Got to have a little humor, eh? Every now and then. 9.4, request for letter of support per the Yarmouth Seafood and Wine Extravaganza. You have that in your package, councillors. What is your wishes? They are looking for, as you they're able to access some, hopefully apply for funding from Communities, Culture and Heritage, and they need a letter of, or are looking for a letter of support from the municipalities that this event and so on. The municipality of Yarmouth has supported it in the past, both financially and in kind. This was started back in, I don't know, when was it? This 20, huh? It was at our, yeah, okay. Yes, great. And they've been moving forward and trying different things in the last number of years and so on. It is, as a state, it's a good area for supporting local wine and spirits. It also does a fantastic job at showcasing the different seafood items and so on. A lot of the local restaurants participate and so on, and they've gone out in the last number of years and had executive chefs from the Pines. He's been here a couple of times, and from a couple of the other different venues and so on, and the public that participate seem to enjoy it immensely and so on. And last year I had the opportunity to MC the event. So, Councillor Cunningham, go ahead.
Yes, I'll move that the municipality of District of Yarmouth send a letter of support or indicating our support of the event is outlined in the letter to us.
Second.
Okay, been moved by Councillor Cunningham, seconded by Councillor Durkee. Was there any further discussion on the motion? Deputy Warden, you have your light on? Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'm in full support of this motion, and something that some people may not realize, this is a showcase for our communities, our culture, our heritage, our seafood and stuff like that. But very soon, in the next year or so, we have a vineyard out in the Carleton area that very soon, hopefully, will be contributing to this. So there's going to be not only seafood, there'll be locally grown grapes, which is going to be producing wine. So hopefully, this is something that's going to be brought forward. Actually, I did mention to the operator of the new vineyard in the Carleton area that this would be a fine place to showcase some of locally grown wine,
Yes,
which
yeah.
is going to be
It's gonna be
something
fun.
new
Yep.
for our area. So I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. Hearing, then I'm over. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded, motion carried. As you're all well aware, we've all been at meetings since 10 o'clock this morning, so it's been a long day. Item number 10, reports. Friends of the Yarmouth Light. Go ahead, Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Warden. Just to let you know that, public know that the Friends of the Light, we're in a transition mode right now for the Friends of the Light to step aside and let the YASTA run the facility down there to promote not only Yarmouth Light, but the Leif Erikson Trail and Cape Richoux in general. I feel from my time being on the member of the Friends of the Light Committee and seeing what they have done since my time that I've been there and knowing some of the history of the past, that they have done a lot of work and are well recognized by the community for their efforts. I do know that they were under a lot of pressure of trying to get things done. There's a lot of work to the volunteers, and I think personally, from what I can see, I think they have a great opportunity now to move forward so that they can increase their memberships, create a more awareness of the lighthouse, of what the Friends of the Light are. They have a number of memorial gardens and benches and things that they can continue to promote to our community. And I think it's an opportunity for them to really grow and to have some of the heavy lifting taken off their backs and let YASTA do their job. Like I say, it's a transition. It's something that we're going to be looking at for the first year, and then we'll see how everything works out for the upcoming years. But make no mistake about it, it's in no way that the municipality of Yarmouth is slighting the Friends of the Light, but providing them an opportunity to grow in their membership and grow their opportunity to have the Yarmouth Light in Cape Richoux enhanced in the attraction of tourists and local residents to enjoy for years to come. It is a very important area in our municipality, and I certainly look forward to the, how can I say, the prosperity that will be going forward. So just to make sure that the Friends of the Light are really, the municipality really appreciates what they have done over the years since the beginning of time. I knew the first organizers of the Friends of the Light, and I think they would be very satisfied in the direction we're taking right now. So anyway, that's my report.
Thank you. Mariner Center Management Authority, Councillor Allen, go ahead.
Well, I attended my first meeting on February 13th at the Mariner Center with the board. My first time sitting around to see what gets involved. Of course, the highlight of the night was the talk of the Mariner Center expansion that had came out. And they, of course, are very interested in being a part of any type of steering committee or such. I did indicate to them at the time, on that day, that the municipality of Yarmouth hadn't officially been requested by the town to sit down. But we had a few things on the agenda. They have since, they've been in contact. They have someone that's going to come in, I think, part-time and do some catering, which they are hoping is going to allow them to maybe do some bidding on some of the events that take place there instead of outsourcing and creating some income. The military engineer project that is coming to Yarmouth, they offered some of the grounds there for them to use. I think that they appreciated the offer, but I believe they're going to be moving out to the airport. I think they're going to be staying out at the airport. It was generally, most of the conversation was about the Mariner Center expansion, which is understandable. I will say, on a sadder note, they did bring up the fact at that date that Stan Clayton, who was the manager of the old arena and is pretty much a sports staple in our community, his health was not well. He has since passed. I personally, and I think the council here, would like to express our condolences to the Clayton family on our behalf. So, for now, that's really all I got. I was just trying to settle in to get as much as I could. So, I'm looking forward to working with this board.
Okay, any questions for Daniel? At this time, I only have one, Daniel. How often does the board meet? Third Wednesday? Oh, I'm sorry, yeah,
I believe once a month. I believe it's on the third Wednesday of the month.
okay, okay. And how many people attend? Rough. Twelve to 14. Another thing that I should mention, that there is a roof repair that's coming up that they're going to be looking to outsource as well. So we have a leak apparently, so they're going to be looking at fixing that. Okay. Is that roof causing major issues, do you know? Or?
I'm not sure about major issues, but I think they'd like to get ahead of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Thank you very much. Regional Solid Waste Authority, Warden Anthony or Councillor LeBlanc. Our next meeting is March 4th at 10 o'clock. It will review a lot of what's happened in the last month and so on. I wasn't at the last meeting. That was a teleconferencing call between the units and so on. The municipality of Yarmouth is one unit that hosts for Argyle, the town, and the municipality of Yarmouth members, and the municipality of Digby hosts for the town of Digby, the municipality of Digby, and the municipality of Clare. My understanding is the meeting went very well, and there was a lot of good information, but this meeting on March 4th will be, there'll be a draft budget put forward for the board to look at, and I'm hoping as many CAOs as possible can be at that. I believe the CAOs have met, have they not, and had a pre-discussion on the budget and so on. So I'm hoping that'll move forward so that we'll know what that cost will be. The waste check here last year, because of the Domtex demolition and so on, our diversion credits aren't going to be as high as we hoped and so on. But I think we're able to work with Divert Nova Scotia, and our diversion credits will be able to stay somewhere where they're at and so on moving forward. Divert Nova Scotia has come out with a funding formula for the province for all of the regions, that the diversion credits will stay at around the $4 million mark over the next number of years, and at the end of that time they will work out whether it was low or high, and they'll make compensation and so on to the regions. If they've been underfunded, they'll top them up. If they've been overfunded, they just won't give them as much in the following year and so on. But it was something that was agreed to by all of the regions for the the funding for diversion credits. But that's coming up on March 4th, so I'll be able to give you a report at the end of the March. Well, no, I won't. I'm not going to be here on the 27th. I'm sorry. Yes, you can give the report. Yes. Western Counties Regional Library, that I believe Councillor Durkee, and we just kind of, unless she has anything, we do have some more. Go ahead.
Not really. No, I just want to say I'm on this agenda twice for the Western Counties Library. The meeting is tomorrow, so I'll have a report
Okay.
next. And then the next one is the Western Ren
Wrens.
Liaison and Oversight. And we haven't had a meeting yet with that, but we had a wonderful presentation at the Committee of the Whole
Yes.
meeting, and I highly recommend that if you really want to know what they're doing, watch our meeting. And they've also come out with a new brochure called Why Western Nova Scotia, which is very impressive.
Yes.
So thanks to the Ren.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And just to support Councillor Durkee, anybody who is looking at our agenda online, the quarterly report for the Western Ren is attached to our agenda. So there's further detail on the activities as well.
I do know you had a bit of a presentation on the electric grid, the electrical grid, and so on. And as much as they gave you for information, we're not the only area in Nova Scotia that is suffering from electrical grid issues. One of the municipal units in Colchester County, they had to, they were doing a project, a pilot project, and they had to rent a big generator in order to run the piece of machinery because Nova Scotia Power couldn't supply them with enough power. So, and it's kind of strange because the pilot project, if it was a feasible project, they were moving forward with it or wanted to move forward with it, but they'd have to have a generator run the project for them because they couldn't supply the power. So there's issues right across the province. It's not just here, but our electric grid is underpowered, big time. The system is faulty. They need to improve it. But the RENS is working on that, so we'll move forward. Yarmouth Area Industrial Commission, there's myself, Deputy Warden Cunningham, and Councillor Cushion, if either one of you, but if not, I can give a quick report. We had a meeting Monday night, had some good discussion pertaining to basically finalizing the Domtex demolition and so on. We have one more little project with that, and that is hooking up potable water and so on to 2 of the units and sprinkler system water. Also, I have it here. Excuse me. Oh, the Novatech agreement passed, and that's for their expansion and so on. That agreement passed and so on. So, do you have something you wish to comment to, Deputy Warden?
I was just going to comment on what we did, but you already said
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and we are looking at also, if I'm not mistaken again, on our health clinics and so on, we have space available at Harbour South, and that's being advertised for companies or anybody in the medical field, that there is space available for rent for doing clinics and so on, and working diligently. I will have to say, and Greg's not here this evening, but the acting manager for the Industrial Commission, over the last number of years, Greg has put a lot of time and effort into the Industrial Commission, and he brought it from a state of financial deficiencies to the state that now it's a lot better for the 3 municipal units and moving forward. The project that we're looking at that we have to finish off on the Domtex is we don't need to come knocking at the doors of the municipal units to fund that. So he's done an excellent job and so on that. Yarmouth and Acadian Shores Tourist Association, Councillor LeBlanc. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Basically, we just had one item that we talked about, and we had the financial report first, and then we came into the ferry. It's been confirmed that the ferry is going to be in Bar Harbor, and the prices and the fares and everything is online now, so you can make your reservations. And there's a little glitch in the agreement that we talked about, and that I think it'll be resolved. I'm not going to go into details and what it is and everything, but it will be resolved. Thank you.
Yarmouth County Solid Waste Management Authority, myself and Councillor Cushion. Councillor Cushion, was you able to make the last meeting of? Nor was I was away. So I'll have to find out from Guy. Go ahead.
The one thing that was mentioned, I wasn't supposed to be there. I was.
Yes.
I'm not an alternate anymore.
Yeah.
And I think it was Guy that called me
Yes.
to
Casey,
go
but
to
yeah.
go there, but
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on. Item number 10 is the Yarmouth International Airport Corporation, myself and Deputy Warden Cunningham. That committee has not met at this time, but the three municipal units, as I stated in my report, have been meeting and having discussions with a consulting company on a go-forward basis and so on, and we'll see where that leads us. Advisory Audit Committee, there has not been a meeting. CAO Committee, been no meeting. Doctor Recruitment and Retention Committee, tomorrow. You've been busy today and you're gonna be busy tomorrow. Who's cooking supper? EMO Executive Committee, there's been no meeting on Remo. Heritage Advisory Committee, Joint Green Energy, Marketing Promotions Levy Advisory Committee, I believe they're, yes. Go ahead.
I've just been attending just a few meetings lately, and I'm starting to lose it about now after the full day. Yes, we had an MPLAC meeting, which was very interesting. It was my first meeting. And we looked at 3 events that were coming up and approved them for some funding, and basically, to start with. And we had some good discussion, and that's it for now.
Okay.
Short and
Thank you.
sweet.
This one here has been a very active body, the Planning Advisory Committee. Deputy Warden, do you have a report? Go ahead.
No, Mr. Chair, but also something that will be coming up to make that committee very active is the instrument of subdivisions and the subdivision bylaw in general. The CAO had sent off a letter to our interim planner. That will be coming very shortly, and that is going to be a load of work. Unfortunately, there's been no zoning requests or anything like that, but that very well could change. I have not talked to Roger, but this committee will soon be ramping up. It seems to go in cycles, up and down.
Yes.
We seem to be very busy for about a year, and then
Drops off.
other years it seems to calm down, but like I said, it will be ramping up very soon, and it will get busy.
Okay, thank you. Yarmouth County Joint Police Advisory Committee? No report? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. There was a meeting previously scheduled for February 21st. Unfortunately, it had to be postponed, so we will be meeting on March the 7th at 1 p.m. Myself and Councillor Cushing, which you no longer sit on the Police Advisory Committee, Mr. Chair, so that's when that meeting will be held. If anyone has any concerns or comments on policing issues that you may want looked at, please forward them to myself or Councillor Cushing, because I do believe that the RCMP does have a planning session on what municipal councils would like to see, whether it be an area of concern like speeding in a school zone somewhere, or an area of concern traffic-wise. Please bring that forward so we can bring it to the RCMP's attention so they could work it into their plan for the next year.
Okay.
Yeah, I also believe they will be coming to council as well. So if you don't forward any then, you'll at least have the opportunity when they do show up to make a presentation to council to be able to express your concerns there as well.
So you say it's March 7th? Okay. And as the warden of the municipality, I am able to attend that, am I not? No, I'm allowed to go, am I not? As ex officio?
I think the CAO under the MGA and the warden have the right to attend any council meeting or committee of council as ex officio if they want to.
No, I'd like to attend. I know I haven't had a chance in the past. Every time I've always been away, and right now, that's not a guarantee, but I put it in there because March 7th, maybe I had an open day, so 1 o'clock, I could go. So, go ahead.
You're absolutely right, Mr. Chair. You and the CAO can attend any meeting as ex officio, but I do remember you not attending in the past few.
You got that right. I've always been away.
I've been flying solo there,
Yes,
so
no.
I just found it kind of strange.
Well, there's no guarantee. It's just I put it in there. Now, I might be in Halifax or something, but I've got it in
Oh,
there.
absolutely, Mr. Chair. And when we went through our committees and decided that Councillor Cushing would have been added to the thing, you did point out that at that time that you could still attend
Yeah.
meetings if you were around.
Yes.
So I want to stand corrected.
Oh, go ahead.
Just want to pick up on a comment that the deputy warden made. So Staff Sergeant Ben Perry and our senior safety coordinator were scheduled to come before committee of the whole on February 20th. No,
No, the
February 13th. And that was a storm day. So we are endeavoring to, as Councillor Trevor Cunningham pointed out earlier tonight, you know, it's a governance issue to make sure that reporting comes. So it is on the docket to have them rescheduled. Your committee of the whole is booking up. We're booking, I think, now into maybe even possibly May. Yeah. So you're going to be busy over the next few months with respect to having reporting come back to you.
Okay. Yarmouth Recreation. Any report? Councillor Cushion? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, I just wanted to let you know that there is a, oh my goodness, volunteer recognition coming up
Yes.
in the very near future, and I had the date, and I forgot to write it down. It's coming up in the near future anyway, and it's always well attended, and it's good to recognize our volunteers in our municipality, in the town, and whatnot. I probably shouldn't say this, but there's sometimes some of our councils are kind of leave out some of the volunteers that are very important to us, but we'll leave that one alone. But you know, it's always well attended for the recreation part of it, so look forward for that to be coming up.
Go ahead.
So, Mr. Chairman, to Councillor Cushing's point, the call for nominations for volunteer celebrations is open. People go to the yarmouthrecreation.ca website. The form to fill out and nominate an individual is located there. My rec director asked me to report it. Did you? I'll confirm that.
Go ahead, Councillor Cushion.
I think it's closed. Oh, was it first?
No, you go, and then,
It's closed for our nominations that we had selected for the provincial one. But as for our local volunteers, we can still
do.
We can still do that.
Okay. Councillor Cunningham, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No worries. There was a Yarmouth Recreation Committee meeting on February 6th. that I did attend, and we linked the agenda. But one of the big things that we did discuss, and it was in the CAO's report, we're going to look at funding a capital project. This particular one that we were talking about is the Milo Boat Club.
Hey.
Because what's happened traditionally is we put it in the budget, but then that capital piece has gotten cut out, so we've had no success doing the renos at the Milo Boat Club. There may be some provincial money available too. So anyway, they're working on that, and staff is, and there'll probably be a capital ask come to both us and the town. So I think we'll get those upgrades done this year. So that's a better process, and we recognize that what we were doing previously wasn't working in terms of putting it in that. So really, those bigger capital pieces belong in our respective capital plans. That's the town and ours. So that will work. So
Yeah.
that's what I'd like to report. And we didn't set a next date or future date because it's really contingent on how the budget moves along and so forth. So that will be to be advised or to be announced.
Councillor Cushing, go ahead.
Thank you, Trevor Cunningham, for updating us on that. I kind of slipped my mind on that meeting, but yes, and I can't stress enough. I know the Milo project, Milo Boathouse or Club, is in the town of Yarmouth, but it is a very vital piece of structure that is heavily used, not only by the town but by the municipality too. So I'm really looking forward for us to through the Recreation Committee to make this happen, because it's much needed. It was built back in the 30s originally. It was updated a couple of times. I was involved with one of the updates of it, and it was when the tin mine closed. And we done a lot of work there at that time, and it now needs a lot of work again. So I just hope that we can see fit to contribute to that project because of its importance. It's so important. It's right on the border of our municipality, and it's a very important piece.
Okay, thank you for that update. As you're all well aware, when my wife is feeling well enough, we take dance classes there on a Friday evening, and the facility is used tremendously. We don't realize the amount until you take a drive by. Like last evening, when I went by, there was cars parked there. The other day when I left and went home at around 4 o'clock, there was a lot of cars and people. It's used, I won't say hourly, but I bet you there was times when, as the dance group, like we go at 6:30, and there's another group leaving at 6:30 as we're going in. So it's always busy. It's and the washrooms need to be upgraded to a standard of better than what they are. Excuse me. That's it. Thank you. Okay. Ad hoc committees. This one here, I will have to admit, there has to be a lot of dedication and so on into this ad hoc committee. And I, to both the councillor and to staff, is the asset management organization. You really want to talk to this one? Go ahead.
Very briefly,
Man.
for two reasons. I wasn't able to make the last one in Fall River, but I will tell you there's a lot of work going on in there. It is very interesting to see how it all falls down. But in saying that, I wasn't able to go to that meeting because of just getting over some flu symptoms, so I wasn't there. But I want to make mention that, going back to the solid waste committee, I was at that meeting, but I just couldn't think of it until
yeah.
Councillor LeBlanc brought it up about, about the holiday. So I did attend that one after, but I just couldn't think at the time.
Yeah.
As you mentioned earlier, it has been a long day, so.
Yes, sir, it is. Yes, sir,
Okay,
it is.
but I'm sure our CAO can certainly update us on that. I don't want to put her on the spot,
Do you
but
want to talk a little bit about, I don't think a lot of people in the when you say asset management, they're not realizing what we're talking about. So give a little definition. And
So asset management is actually a pretty specific discipline in terms of looking after the things you own and the services you deliver. And so while this council has historically looked after what it owns and what it manages, a level of intentionality is being brought to bear around it. And that includes policy, which you've made a commitment to approve a policy at the end of this study, this cohort work. It includes condition assessments, your GIS information, what it cost you to build it when you built it, your life cycle costing. All of those pieces are part of asset management. In addition to that, you talk about the level of service. So, for example, this pen is a pen, but the pen could have an eraser, the pen could have a clicker, the pen could have more than one color of ink. So, you talk about a pen or a trail, but how complex or sophisticated is it? So all of that is part of asset management. And then the other piece, which we are doing, our team is doing, and it's extra work, extra credit, is around community engagement. And we are actually in the process of crafting a project to engage our community as part of our required study. And we're going to be working with Yarmouth Recreation on that community engagement initiative, because they actually have to go out to the community and do some work anyway. So it's exciting. It is a lot of work. I am of the firm opinion that over time, it will provide data and information to council so that when you're approached with capital requests and when you have to make decisions on capital projects based on the life cycle costing, you'll have some good information to better inform you for those decisions.
Okay, thank you. That was a brief synopsis. The asset management, we all sit on different committees. The asset management, the wording is short, but the work is long and hard. She can make it sound easy, but there's a lot to it. So, thank you. 3.2, Fence Arbitration Committee. We haven't had to do a whole lot so far. But, being a municipal unit and being a county where dairy animals and beef animals, horses and so on, a Fence Arbitration Committee, you never know when you may be called into an incident or a situation. So better be prepared. And so Municipal Alcohol Project. Councillor Cushion, go ahead.
thank you, Mr. Warden. The next meeting is now called the Substance Use Partnership. Is going to be on March the 5th at 10:30 a.m. And I want to thank council for allowing me to still be on that committee to keep us abreast of the substance abuse, because I think it is very important for our community to understand what is going on with it. Getting away from that project, I just want to let people know, I don't know how many people are aware, but tomorrow, February 28th at 1 p.m. at the Mariner Center, there's an anti-racism workshop going on. So people should be encouraged to go if you want to go. It's open to the public. So
What time?
1 p.m.
And how it goes, for how long?
4 o'clock. So it'd be interesting if anybody wants to attend to it. So
Can't go for all of it, but 1 o'clock, just at Mariner Center.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess item number 11 would be the in-camera recommendations, and I believe Deputy Warden, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. This is quite a lengthy motion, but however, there's a lot of numbers involved. So the first motion I'm going to make a motion to accept the opening bids at the tax sale recommended by the CAO for account numbers 1217038, 452556, 452-564, 577-2494, 852-5412, 3800636, 853-7453, 145-4323, 416-8062, 136174, and 435-2254, as per MGA, Municipal Government Act, Section 22-2B.
I didn't quite get all those numbers. Could you repeat it, please?
Absolutely, Mr. Chair.
No,
Do you want me to
don't you dare.
start from the beginning?
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. We have a mover. Do we have a second? Seconded by, moved by Deputy Warden John Cunningham, seconded by Councillor Trevor Cunningham. Question being called. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The second motion I'd like to make is a motion to authorize the CAO to bid on account number 3800636 at the upcoming tax sale.
Been moved by the Deputy Warden. Do we have a seconder? Seconded by Councillor Durkee. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Question being called. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. The third motion coming and final motion coming out of the in-camera session is a motion to authorize the CAO to complete the terms of the proposed deal with the current owner of PID number 901-40435, and further on completion to authorize the CAO to consolidate PID numbers 901-40427 and PID number 901-40435 into one parcel.
Been moved by Deputy Warden Cunningham, seconded by Councillor Allen. Was there any further discussion on that motion? Question being called. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary minded? Motion carried. Thank you. Was there any further business to council? No, as the warden and as the chairman, I asked that question for me. If there's any information or any requests from councillors, fine. But I do have one last topic. If you wouldn't mind, Deputy Warden, unzip your jacket a little further, please. I want it to be known that today was Anti-Bullying Day across Canada. And I am very pleased to state that the municipality of Yarmouth, it's nice seeing Councillor Cushion, Councillor LeBlanc, the deputy, or the CAO, Trevor Cunningham, Patty Durkee, the deputy warden, and myself supporting the anti-bullying and so on. And this is, I took this as an opportunity. You should always end a meeting with a little humor, eh? And this is no reflection, Councillor Allen. I know you've been busy with your new boat and so on. So, yeah. But I do want to thank each and every one of you and so on in support of that. On that, if there's no further business at council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Deputy Warden. Thank you very much.